back to my channel. I'm Andrea. It's nice to have you guys here today. Today we've got a little bit of a different kind of setup here. I thought with everything that's been going on, and now that I'm 2 weeks into this whole remote working, teaching online, working from home situation, it might be fun to do a video talking about how my job has changed now that I'm working from home 100%, and kind of walk you through what a typical day for me looks like. So you all have already seen kind of my morning routine. I get up, I get dressed, I make my bed, and then brush my teeth, do my skincare, all of that good stuff, and then come out here, make breakfast, make myself a cup of coffee, and then sit down. And usually if I wake up early enough, I won't work while I eat my breakfast. If I can get out here before 9 o'clock, I'll read a book or I'll watch a YouTube video while I eat my breakfast. But I think that's another thing. So in terms of things that have changed, number one, my schedule is way more flexible than it was. And it was already really flexible. How things were before, so I was already working from home a good portion of the time. I teach 5 classes at my university. I'm a full-time instructor, and I teach writing. If you're new here, if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a full-time instructor in a major writing programs in Arizona, in Phoenix, at a university. So I'm an English teacher. I teach primarily first-year composition and business writing. And this semester I have 2 sections of 101, so the first part of first-year composition, and then 3 sections of business writing. My 2 sections of 101 and 2 of my 302 sections were full semester length, what we call C-session, hybrid classes. So that means they're half online, half in person. So this hasn't been too drastic of a change work-wise for me, in that I was already teaching half online, and 302 in particular, I already teach online. I've taught it online a number of times. The Canvas shell that I use, my learning management system, the Canvas shell that I use for my hybrid classes and my online classes are exactly the same. So in terms of how the online environment is set up, it's the same, my hybrid students. So it really wasn't that different, and it wasn't that difficult to transition stuff. There's definitely been work that I've had to transition to online. There are lectures that I normally just give in person, or lectures where I might have a PowerPoint already, but now I've got to make it more detailed or add a narration to it or something like that. I'm trying to avoid adding narrations or doing video lectures. I'm trying to keep things as kind of low bandwidth, low file size, low technology heavy, keeping in mind that my students might be having trouble with their internet, with their computers, and so I'm trying to make things as streamlined and as simple as possible. Change number 1 has definitely been the flexible schedule. I'm used to working from home on Mondays, so today is Monday, so Mondays don't feel that different. By Friday is when I notice, like, wow, like, it's just weird how different it feels, because I'm used to Mondays and Fridays working from home, Tuesdays and Thursdays working on campus, and Wednesdays working at my parents' house. And now I'm working from home Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Wednesday working at my parents' house. So Wednesdays haven't really changed at all, but the rest of the week feels like it really has. Now I kind of know where I am in the week based on what my tasks are. Monday tends to be very announcement heavy. I'm writing up a lot of announcements and posting announcements. Every Monday, by Monday afternoon, I post whatever their task list and mini deadlines for the week are going to be. And I do that for 3 different. One announcement goes to 2 classes, another announcement goes to 2 classes, and then the third announcement goes to my 1B session, which is a shortened session. So on my task list for today, I need to create a Google Slide presentation for one of the class. I need to create a discussion board prompt for probably a couple of the classes. I need to create those task lists, and then once that is done, I'm going to start grading stuff. I've got a lot of things to grade. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get through. So Monday afternoon, once all the task lists are posted and I've got everything kind of planned for the week, the rest of the time will be spent grading. Grading then usually carries on into Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be a mix of grading, reviewing drafts, talking to students. I find they're not usually reaching out to me on a Monday or a Friday, but they will sometimes want to do a Zoom call on like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Lesson planning, trying to advance plan for the next week, and then that will all get finished up kind of on Friday. And then Friday I also post check-in announcements, just kind of wrapping up the week and giving them advanced planning for kind of what's going to pop up on their task list on Monday. So that's kind of how the schedule has changed a little bit. I'd say one of the biggest differences I'm noticing is how much more student motivation I'm having to do, how much teacher motivation I'm having to do. I think one of the biggest differences is definitely not so much adjusting to teaching online, because I have a ton of experience teaching online and it doesn't really faze me at this point. That wasn't what freaked me out about all of this. What freaked me out was kind of why we were doing it and worrying about my students. I definitely have been getting a number of emails between all of my 5 classes saying I'm losing my internet, or I've had to move home, or they're still getting sick with other stuff, or there are other family emergencies not related to the current situation. They're going through a lot, and class is kind of the last thing on their mind, which I completely understand. But the way I see it, I had one student email me this morning as I was eating breakfast and doing emails saying, she's explaining everything that had been going on, and she had a lot of stuff going on outside of what's already going on. And then all of that was then making her stressed out on top of everything else. Her story is definitely a case of, if I were her, I would seriously be thinking, do I even finish out the semester, or do I just call it all a wash? And that's what I'm trying to get my students to avoid. I don't want them to just give up, because we were already halfway through the semester when everything changed, and they were already done with their first project and 90% done with their second project out of 3 projects total. So they were already pretty much 2/3 of the way work-wise through the class. So I don't want anyone just saying, it's too hard, this is too difficult, I give up. I'm willing to kind of carry them through the semester if that's what I have to do. They still have to do the work, but if it means giving them extensions, being flexible, reviewing their drafts multiple times instead of, usually I try to limit them to 1 draft review feedback session per project, because I typically don't have time to look at my students' work 5 million times before they turn in a final draft. But if there are some students that want to keep sending me drafts until they've got it right, then that's what I'll do, if that will help make them feel more comfortable about the work. So I feel like I'm doing a lot more of that kind of hand-holding than I normally do. Also because a lot of that gets done in class, either in the few minutes before or after class, or when we're working on things in class. I'm finding that my email inbox is getting full a lot more often, a lot fuller, and with more frequency throughout the week, because they're reaching out when in the past they would just raise their hand in class or come up to me before or after class when they arrived or before they left. So the student communication has definitely been one of the biggest changes that I've had to deal with. And then the flexible schedule has kind of been the second big thing I'm noticing. I've got work that needs to get done in a week. That gets broken down into work that needs to get done each day, but there's nothing to say I have to be at my desk by 9 a.m. and that I absolutely have to stop working by 5 p.m. But I kind of find that throughout the week, there are some days where I do 8 hours. There are other days where I do 9 or 10. And so then that means there are days where I could do, 7. I kind of just look to see by the end of the week, have I got my 40 hours? It's kind of my goal. And how that gets divided up in the week is fine. I do sometimes work longer hours and try to do more work at the beginning of the week so that I can have kind of a lighter Thursday and Friday. I like doing that so that Thursday and Friday I can kind of spend doing more, I don't know how to say this, more thinking work, if that makes sense. So doing more work that isn't as labor intensive, but kind of advanced planning, working on things for their assignments, coming up with new mini assignments, kind of that developmental type work, I guess would be a good way to say. But it's harder for me to give myself time to do that on Thursday and or Friday if I'm still really kind of actively in the nuts and bolts of right now. So I do try to work harder at the beginning of the week so that I've got more time at the end of the week to kind of just stretch work sessions out and not be rushing to get stuff done within an hour. Today I have my Norton Field Guide to Writing, which is my 101 textbook. So I'm going to create a presentation for my 101 students. I'll then create a discussion board post related to the presentation. All of that will be related to their current projects. So that is what is on the agenda for today. I've got both my planner and I've got my daily overview pad here. And yeah, let's get started. I will show you what I do. I will show you what I'm working on, how things progress throughout the day, and then I will check in with you at the end of the workday to let you know what got done, what's getting migrated to tomorrow, and all of that sort of thing. And now it's time for me to put my music back on and get back to work. Okay, it is now just before 3 o'clock. I have done the task lists, I've done all of the presentations, assignment creation, everything needed for them to do their task list for the week. So all of that is set up. I've done some grading. I've got a little bit more grading to do, and I will probably make an attempt to do that before I finish for the night, but my brain is pretty fried. So it would not be wise for me to sit down or stay seated and do some grading. So I need to wake myself up a bit. So I'm gonna put my shoes on and go for just a quick walk around the block just to kind of get some fresh air and get my blood pumping through my body because I feel like sitting here I've just gotten a little... So I need to wake up, and then I will have a snack and another cup of coffee. I drink decaf, so I can drink it in the afternoon and it's not a problem. So I'll have a little snack, a little sweet snack, a little cup of coffee, and probably just read a novel. Probably do that over on the couch, not in this chair. And then by 4, I should be back at my desk grading that last batch of assignments. So it's 2:56. I will be back here in an hour and 4 minutes. It is now 11 minutes after 6 o'clock. So I'm definitely stopping now. I didn't get to finish the grading. Looked at some drafts that had come into my email, responded to a few questions, several questions. I had several students emailing me, asking me various things. So kind of got sidetracked from that, but also was just really tired. So I think grading will be one of the top priorities for tomorrow. It's fine. I've got plenty of time. I'm not really that worried about it because today was still really productive. I have to remind myself of that a lot, that like sometimes it feels like I don't get as much done in a day as I would like, but I am getting a lot done. So I feel good about today. Had a good bit of self-care. I went for my walk. It was beautiful. It's probably the last really, really nice day we're gonna have. It's starting to warm up here in Phoenix tomorrow, so yay. Went for my walk, had a good time, came back, read for a bit. That did kind of recharge my batteries enough for me to put another 2+ hours of work into things. So now it's time to shut everything down, unplug from my external monitor, go sit down and eat my dinner and relax for the rest of the night. Since I've started working from home full-time, I've been really careful to try not to work too late. Again, if I start late in the morning, then I'll work a little bit later in the evening. But for the most part, I try to be shutting everything off work-wise at 6 o'clock, 7 at the latest. And I do try to make sure that I give myself breaks throughout the day, as you saw. I'm usually pretty good at I can work for a long stretch and then take like one bigger break than needing several smaller breaks, but I do give myself breaks. So give yourself breaks if you're working from home. Don't just stay stuck at your desk. I will also, depending on what I'm doing, move around. So if I need my external monitor, or if I need space beside me to have like my grade sheets or something, I'll work at the desk. But if I'm just reading drafts on my computer and I just need my laptop in my lap, then I can go sit on my couch, or I've got a chair in my bedroom. I would also say another big piece of advice is to learn when to shut things down. It's really easy and really tempting, I think, to just keep working and lose track of time. And that's really not the best thing. You want to make sure that you are shutting off at least a little bit in the evening and that you're taking time to relax and recharge. If I were to work for another few hours tonight, for example, it will just make tomorrow morning even harder. 6 o'clock, I'm going to shut everything down. I'm going to switch to relax mode, watch some YouTube videos, have a really yummy dinner, have some more of my delicious cookies for dessert, and then go to sleep at a reasonable time if I can. And then on the weekends, also, it's important. I've really made sure these last couple weekends to just not do anything, and that's been really helpful. Getting a lot of really good rest over the weekends and feeling a little less stressed and anxious when Monday rolls around. Like, I was still tired today, but I was ready to get back to work because the last 2 days I've done next to nothing. Which has been great. I would say if you do find that you do still need to work on the weekends, try to only work one day if possible, or work shorter sessions. If you're doing something both Saturday and Sunday, try not to let it take over the whole day, because we really do need our rest. And if you're an educator like me and you're teaching, like, we need time where we're not looking at our grade sheets or grading a paper or thinking about our lesson plans. And we're not really going to be much use to our students if we let ourselves burn out. I don't know about other schools and other academic calendars, but we still have 5 weeks left of the semester here in Arizona, including this week. So it doesn't seem like a lot of time, and in some ways it's not, and in some ways it is. And so it's going to go by really fast, but there's a lot of work that has to get done in the meantime. And so if I'm not shutting off by 6 p.m. each weekday, and if I'm not taking the weekends, I'm not going to make it to the end of the semester, and I'm not going to be any help to my students. Self-care is really important, which is why I integrate it into my daily routine. Even as someone who does have a lot of experience with online teaching, I'm still struggling. So if online teaching isn't your main thing and isn't something you've been trained for, it's normal for you to be freaking out a bit. And so all we can do is our best, and with the knowledge that our best still probably isn't going to be good enough. And that's okay. And that's what I'm trying to impart on my students. Like, I just want them to do their best, even if it's not what their best normally is. I want them to do their best under these circumstances, and that's all I can do as well. So anyway, I hope this has been interesting or helpful, or both. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'd really appreciate that. It does help me out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I do all kinds of different content. So you can scroll back through my recent videos to see what else I do and if that would be interesting. If you want to see how the rest of this week pans out, come back in a video or two from now to see weekly vlog. That will be weekly vlog number 10. So come back for weekly vlog number 10 to see the rest of my week. And yeah, I will see you all soon in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye-bye.